not that page. No problem. Okay. Hello, 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 hello. I'm trying to get, where's the page that I was just in? Here we go. I've got to go back to the groups that I want, and I want to go to June, see more, June 2026. There we are. Are we live in the group? I'm not seeing it. All right, so now. Okay, let's go here. Could have sworn I was live streaming a second ago. Hold on. I see the video. Where is the live stream? In the Kia, so now I don't have any more member requests. Okay, going back to Zoom, not Zoom, Ecamm. I'm live on YouTube, but I'm supposed to be live streaming to the Facebook group, right? Yes. So, but it's not showing that I am, so what am I supposed to do? If someone is over in the Facebook group, please let me know, because right now I'm not seeing my live stream and it's saying I am live streaming into the group, which is concerning. Do I need to make live? Okay. Oh, right. It won't go live until I press go live. Right. Okay, I got it now. Okay, description, 5-day challenge, day 1, amateur versus pro. Okay, great. Let's spell that right. Save. Okay, and then I think it's over here. Yeah, the go live button. Goodness gracious. Okay. I think we are now live in the Facebook group. So I'm going to refresh my page and make sure that there is a live stream happening. Yes, there is. Okay. So, hello, everyone. I apologize that it took a second to figure things out. It has been some time since I've done this challenge, and clearly I needed a refresher. So, Sinel, if you are there in the group, please type something in the chat. This is where I will be able to see you. Obviously, the captions are auto-generated, so I do know that your name is spelled C-I-N-E-L. I apologize for the lateness, so if you are there, Sinel, please go ahead and type something in the chat. If you wanted to upgrade to the VIP, which is where you get hot seats with me, etc., then you want to go ahead and go back to the link that you had, or there's a VIP upgrade essentially that you will receive. Okay, so with that being said, Let me go ahead and get to the content of day one of the challenge. So thank you for your patience. Give me 2 seconds because I spent so much time trying to get in the group that I'm a little bit foggy on where exactly my stuff is. So give me a second. So many things. File, open. Okay. Take Your Mindset Pro. That's the one. Wait. Okay, here they are. Took a while. Okay, let me just make sure they're all in here. Yes. Okay. So let me go back to Zoom. Here. Hello, hello, hello. And let me resume the recording and go ahead and share my screen. All right. Share my screen. Okay, and then I'm gonna start the slideshow and make sure that that's on my screen. Okay, so my question to you in the Facebook group, going back over here, making sure that I have it up. Can you see the slides? Okay, let's see here. Let me refresh this page again because now I can't find it. Says I'm live. Yes. Okay. So you can see the slides. I can see you can see the slides. So hello, 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 hello. Okay. All right. Perfect. We are cooking with gas. Okay. So it is day one of the Amateur versus Pro Mindset Challenge. I want to congratulate you on taking the time to invest in yourself. Now, can you guys hear me okay? Everything good with the sound? They keep trying to tell me that something's wrong with my sound, so I'm just making sure that you guys can hear me okay. Oops, sorry, I done gone through the slides. That was an accident. I'm not quite sure how that happened. I'm gonna get, the computer is going a bit slow, so my apologies. I don't even know how we got here. Why are the slides looking all weird? Oh, because I make my screen all dark. I might have to turn that off. Let me stop my share for just a second. Apologies, guys. I have this cool thing on my Chrome that makes all of my backgrounds dark, but it appears to be messing with the way my slides are showing, and I don't like that. So I'm going to turn it off temporarily. Let me just, if I can, dark reader. I'm going to turn it off just for a second. I haven't had it off in a long time, but we're going to, hold on. Let me get to the right page so that it's actually, I don't want to turn it off on every page, just the one that I just had up with the slides. Where the heck are you now? Now I can't find them. Great. Did I get out of the slides? History. Just pull the slide back up to the first page of the slides. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the beginning. Yeah, that should not be that color. Okay, so we want to turn the Phantom Reader off on this website so you guys can see the slides properly. Okay, my apologies. I'm going to share the slides again. This is a whole process here to make sure that I've had this dark. So it makes all my websites dark, even if the website itself doesn't allow for a dark, but it does change the way that my slides look, which I do not like. So we're going to make sure that that doesn't happen again. So here we go. And we're going to share the screen. And then I'm going to make the slideshow perfect. Let me see here. And go to the slideshow. The first slide you should see is the big background with me in the corner. Yep. Okay. Now, okay, I don't know how that happened, but let's get that. What the heck? What the heck? Why did it go to that? Wait, what's going on? Okay, how do I go backwards? Thank you. All right, can you guys see the first slide? Please understand, I will give you your full time. There's just so much going on here with this technical difficulties, which I definitely need to should have taken the time to. Okay, I don't need two of these, so can I get one off? I don't know. Okay, okay, that one hopefully you guys are actually seeing. And let me go back. Oh, this is fun. This is fun for me. Okay. Where is the slideshow? Right here. Let me go back to the Facebook group. Okay. So I'm still live, I hope. Okay, you can see it. Hi, Sanel. How you doing? Okay, I'm glad you're here. Okay, guys, I am so sorry for all of this, but can you see me and the screen right now? Because yeah, it's a whole process, and I'm trying to make sure you can see that we're all caught up. So hopefully you guys can see what I see, but it's hard to look at Facebook and that. So Nakia, I'm going to ask you just temporarily. LaShonda texted, she didn't, hold on. She didn't get a new link. Okay. All right. Did she, okay, who cares? All right. Give me a second. LaShonda didn't get a link. Great. Nakia, can you text me to tell me if you can see what I'm looking at? And I'm going to try to send you this link for the challenge because I definitely sent her an email, but she's going to have to check. LaShonda is going to have to check her, what do you call it? But this is for LaShonda that I'm texting you. That should be what she should have gotten, but it could have gone to her spam promotions if she's using Gmail. But that's the link to the Zoom that I just texted you. Can you text me to tell me if you can see the whole screen? Because I know you're busy. But I'm trying to get to this slideshow, and I'm making sure you guys can see because the delay on Facebook is so pronounced that I have no idea at what point it's catching me. Okay. Let's see. It's a whole process, and I'm trying to make sure you can see. Okay, that we're all caught up. Okay, let's see. When did I say that? Okay. And so now you were there. Okay, sent an image. This is what we see right now. Okay. I don't think she knows. Okay, you guys can see just the slideshow. Okay, so if I go in here on the Google Chrome, I'm seeing the whole page. So I'm gonna stop the share and I'm gonna share it again just so I can make sure that I'm on the right page. Not that, not that, not that. Where the heck is it? I'm gonna pull it out. Yeah, I need it on a different page. Okay, it's just its own thing. So I'm gonna stop again. This is a pain in the butt. All right. Nope, don't say that. Go back to Zoom. I promise you. Okay. And share screen. Okay. All right. So now I know that I'm sharing the slideshow not full screen, and now it's full screen. So we should be good. Nakia, that is not a good screenshot. Just letting you know. So hopefully we're all set. Oh, and then it just shares a second screen, which is so weird because I don't know which one is which. But I'm just going to trust you guys can see something because it keeps showing me two screens. Okay. 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 I think we're good. So I'm just going to trust that we're in the right place. And if I move the slide 1, okay, now it's not moving the slide at all. So let's see if it's moving this one. What the frick, dude? Oh, because I have to go in. Wait, it should move the slide. What? Okay, great. A second ago, it was moving without me, and now it won't move at all. That's fantastic. You have to laugh at how crazy this is because, okay, there we go. All right, so let me go back to Facebook, make sure you guys can see the day 1. Sanel or Nakia, are you still there? Okay, and if I move this one and just press the key, okay, so both of them, I'll just see which one. Yeah. Oh my God, it's so far behind. Okay, you can both see day 1. Okay. All right, so I'm trusting that we're in the right place. Okay, so the first thing to note is just going back, it's amateur versus pro mindset. What is a pro mindset and why you need one? Most of us operate at a level of mindset kind of on autopilot or default. Default is a better way to put it. We want to get to a place where it's autopilot. So default is kind of the default settings that come with anything, right? You buy something new, you have to kind of, what's the word, adjust the settings of what you're doing, and then you need to be able to then set it on autopilot saying, okay, I trust it to run. So with all the new AI that we have, ChatGPT, what's the Claude and Manus and all the different things that are out there, you're kind of like, well, I don't know if I trust it yet. But when you get to a place where you trust it, then you can run it on autopilot. So amateur is sort of default and pro is autopilot, if that makes any sense. Put a 1 in the chat if that makes sense to you guys. Yes, if that makes sense to you, what I just said, then that's great. Okay. Now we're going to go to let's get acquainted. So funny enough, I actually have met Leslie Jones since I chose this, but I wanted to make sure that you guys got a chance to know me. So first, you're here in the right place. You're here to get a tune up for your mindset, to really figure out how to get those pro settings, but you want to make sure you're learning from the right person. So who am I? My name is Bryn. I'm a former D1 athlete, okay, which means I ran track at Michigan State. There I am with some of my teammates, a wall of medals. I was quite decorated in high school and college, so I won a lot of hardware, things like that. I've also been coaching elite athletes on the pro and the semi-pro level and elite college and high school level for several years. So I come from a background of being an athlete and a high performer, and I also have coached several athletes that even transcended above where I have competed. So NBA, pro soccer players, volleyball players, different levels, and then all the way down to elite high school. And I've also done hundreds of elite or high performing entrepreneur clients, realtors, business owners, service providers from all over the place, people who all have excelled in their area of expertise, but also wanted something to unlock to get to that next level. So does that sound like somebody that you can resonate with, that you're kind of like, yeah, that sounds like me. That sounds interesting. I'm interested in that. Okay. Let me just make sure on Zoom I don't have any other, let's see here, going back. Okay. Now, one thing I want to say though is that, I guess I can't. Oh, wait, I need to go to Zoom. Zoom. Hold on one second. Oh no, eCam. Sorry. I'm trying to find the window with, in case, let me know, Nakia. I'm going to look at my phone real quick if you text me. If she texts you and says like she's in the room or something, because I'm not seeing her as being there. Um, but it says the screen is being paused. So if I'm not in the slides, it's being paused. Great. Fantastic. Okay, so anyway, we'll just stay with the presentation, and if she comes in, hopefully I can see her. Okay, so oh, there it is. Okay, cool. I can see it. I was looking for my menu and it's right above. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the reason I wanted to say this is even though I was an elite athlete and I did compete at the top level, there's so much I didn't know about mindset. There's so much that no one ever taught me. Okay. One, this is a kind of a thing of like your attitude. So one of the things when I was a track athlete is I definitely had sometimes an attitude about like hard workouts, or, it's like, we're going to do 10 200s today. And I'd be like 10 200s, right? And that impacts your behavior, right? So I would do the 200s, but I'm sure there was a level that I never, sometimes I would slouch or I would complain. So that would be more the behavior. So first my attitude was, I don't want to do 10 200s. Then maybe I would complain vocally, like, oh gosh, we have to do those, or maybe I didn't want to go first or something like that. Then my actions, I would do the 10 200s because I never was the type of athlete. I always did what my coaches asked me to do, but not having that proactive mindset definitely impact how I did those 10 200s, which then released to the results and then overall performance. And that's just creates a cycle. Have you ever noticed your own attitude, behavior, actions, results, and performance? So if you have an attitude about it's hard out here for people in my business, right? Then your behavior might be you kind of sulk, you procrastinate, you feel like you don't want to do it. You might take your time. Then your actions are you're kind of lackluster doing it, maybe giving yourself a small amount of time. Then that, goes to your results and then your overall performance. And then it just makes you that much sadder. It doesn't work. Nothing's working. So then the behavior gets worse. The actions get less. The results continue to suffer, and so on and so forth. So all of these is a way to encapsulate mindset. Mindset is all of these different areas, okay? I hope that's making sense. Okay? So the next thing is a story time. Another time that I did kind of sabotage myself is I went to this conference many years ago, and I remember there was an offer made from the stage. I don't know if any of you have been to a conference, but they often make offers from the stage. This particular conference was called the T. Harv Eker. His whole series was the Quantum Leap, and I don't remember which one in the series this was, but it was one of the conferences, and he made an offer from the stage, and he said, this next offer I'm going to make is for a specific group of people who've had a certain level, who've achieved a certain level of success. That's what he said. He used those words, a certain level of success. And so I immediately, T. Harv Eker, he's this, he's come up with this really successful, series of, workshops. And so I'm already equating him with like a high level of success. And so I automatically assume that what he's talking about is money. And I, at that time, didn't have a lot of money. So I said, oh, he's not talking to me. And he said, well, okay, so those people who want to hear about this offer that have achieved a certain level of success, we're going to do a special lunchtime session. So stay in your seats. For those people, everyone else go to lunch and we'll see you after. So I said, oh man, I was disappointed that I didn't qualify. So I left and I went to lunch. But of course, much like everybody, I wanted to know about FOMO, right? I felt like I missed out on something. I wanted to know. So when I got back, I saw this guy named Garfield, and I asked him, I said, hey, like, I know he said that thing, and what was the offer? What was the offer? And Garfield, he's quite blunt. He's like, yes, things you wouldn't necessarily share with people. But he said, yeah, when all you guys left, T. Harv Eker said when you guys left that he would never do business with those people. And I was like, what? And I was like, that's not fair. I'm taking that off the screen because I know it's distracting having Elmo the whole time. I said, that's not fair. That's not fair. Right? I immediately became, was like, he said. And I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but the minute I said these words, I realized what I had done, which is he said a certain level of success. And I realized I made it about money. He never said that I didn't qualify for the offer. And so then I was like, oh, wow. Now, I'm curious, how many of you in your life have taken yourself out of the running, decided that you didn't qualify for something, that it wasn't possible for you? You didn't sign up because you were already thinking down the road that it wasn't going to work out. How many of you have ever done that in your life? Okay, I'm going to try something and not make it full screen because that way I can go and still share my screen and also see you guys' comments. Yeah. Sanel, are you still there? I don't know if she's still there, but so now let me know. Because I know Nikia's done this before, but I'm just making sure this is resonating with you and that you're getting it. Okay. 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 Wow, that's scary that it's just now showing that in the group. What is happening? Okay. All right. It's just catching up. Got it. Okay. So I hope you guys are with me. I just got scared that the whole time I was talking, you guys weren't seeing what I was doing. Anyway, so I just wanted to know how many of you have ever disqualified yourself for something. Put a 2 in the chat if you've ever disqualified yourself from something, decided it wasn't for you. It wasn't, maybe they weren't talking to you, whatever. And so what I realized was that I had taken myself out. I had decided. So during this challenge, there's going to be many times I'll be talking to that part of you. And I'm going to hope that you'll rise up to that level. And I'll be making an offer by the end of this challenge to work with me so we can work on your specific challenges with your mindset, your limitations. And I want you to decide if you're already going to decide that you're not eligible for that offer, or if you're going to ask yourself a question of how could I be more of a pro? If I could apply these mindset principles, if I could do this, what is the next level of me? What is the next level of me and how am I going to get there? And using the principles that I'll get from these 5 days, which are definitely worth it, but is there a possibility that I need to look at some other things? So anyway, with that being said, now that we've seen Elmo, we're going to go to the next slide, which is the rules of the game and the disclaimers. Okay. So the disclaimers that I want to say. 1, this challenge is for you. It's for you. If you're here right now, Sanel, we also have, I think it's Tulani who's going to come, and then we have LaShonda who's signed up, who haven't quite joined us yet because of technical difficulties and challenges. But don't worry, it's all good. You're just missing this part. The good news is that this challenge is for you. This isn't for your mother's cousins, brothers, sisters, nephew, right? Like, oh my God, they totally need this. I wish they were here to see this. I wish they were the ones that could hear this. I need to get them to sign up for the challenge. If the whole time you're thinking about everybody in your life that could use a mindset tune-up, remember this challenge is for you, not for them. Even though they might benefit, tell them to sign up, sure, but while you're here for these 5 days, it's for you. Okay? You can always baby bird it to them at another time, but the best thing for you to do is just say, hey, I attended this great challenge. It was fantastic. And I recommend you do it as well because it helped me do X, Y, and Z. That's the best selling point you can make. But if you try to tell them about the challenge and you haven't done anything with it, they're just going to go, just like what you're worried about. Yeah, this sounds great. And they're not going to use it. And so you're just going to be frustrated. So be here for you. Be here now. The only time you have, I want everybody to look at their wrist, is now. Okay? So go ahead and be here now. That's what time it is. It's always now. Now is always happening. It's the only time you have. So be present. Finally, LaShonda is here. Hi. So LaShonda just joined us. Great. Hi, LaShonda. How are you? You can go ahead and unmute for a moment if you'd like. I know you just came in the room. You don't have to turn your camera on per se, but I just wanted you to know that we finally got you in the room, and you can still have your Q&A session, which normally happens before this time, but we will have it after. So just making sure that you can hear me, LaShonda. If you want to type in the chat a message, let me just see if you've typed anything, and then I'm going to go on with where we are because we have some people watching on Facebook right now. So to finish the general admission session. And Nakia, your cousin has still not joined the Facebook group, just letting you know. At least not that I've seen prior to. Let me just see if, okay, hold on. Okay, got it. All right, I see that. LaShonda, can you hear me? I'm hoping she can. And also have her join. Okay, there you are. LaShonda? Okay, perfect. I'm just making sure you're good. Okay, cool. So we're going to finish this part, which is the general admission part, which usually comes second. And then we'll go ahead and do your Q&A. So you'll have an opportunity to ask me a question and get a hot seat after this part is done. Is that okay with you? Hello? LaShonda? Yes, I was. You specifically. Okay, sorry. Okay, so you are a VIP, so you get a different level of access than people who are general admission. So right now we're live streaming to the Facebook group where I'm teaching the general session. The format for the group though is normally for the challenge is that I do the VIP session before I've gone live in the Facebook group. So you would have already had your hot seat from 3 to 4 or from 6 to 7 your time. So what I was saying was I will have your session after this instead of before because we missed it because of technical difficulties. So you'll be able to ask a question at the end of this. Okay? All right, cool. All right, so you can go ahead and go back on mute, but if you have anything, you can type it in the chat, whatever the case is of just this part. And then we've got Sanel and I think Nakia in the Facebook group right now on the other side. Okay, so we were going over the rules of the game. So remember to be here for yourself. You are the only person that this challenge is really for. So even if you think someone else could benefit, the best way you can share it is by living the principles and sharing what you took away from it and bragging about it, and then they will be interested. But just telling, just thinking, oh my God, I wish my cousin needs to be in here. That's not really the best way because they are most likely not, they're going to do what they've always done, which is kind of just be like, oh, that's nice, and then never do anything with that information. All right. So that's one of the rules of the game. The disclaimers during the challenge during the challenge, especially if you're VIP, I'm going to be calling you up to a higher level. I'm going to be challenging you during this. I'm going to be testing you. So be ready to not just sit and watch and consume content. Have notes and paper ready. That's the rules. What you write down, you're going to keep. I know that we can get transcribes and we can get Zoom things and we can kind of shut off with all the AI tools, but go back to old, analog paper and pen, because I promise you, you will do so much better with that by taking some notes. You'll remember what you write down. So just keep that in mind. And with your permission, everybody type a yes in the chat if I have your permission to hold you accountable. So go ahead and let me know if that's okay with you. Yes, LaShonda says. Okay. 22222. There's Sanel. She's like, I'm here. Okay, good. So we've got everybody on. Fantastic. Great. So we've got everybody's permission. Now we're going to move on to the next slide. Okay. All right. So this, is your brain, right? And some of you are old enough to remember when they used to say, this is your brain on. But no, we're not doing that. Your brain can remember 11 million bits per second. 11 million bits per second. It can hold that much information and process. But we only remember, does anybody want to put a number in the chat of that 11 million? Do you think how much we can actually remember or process? Like consciously? Does anybody know what the number is? Just take a guess. Put it in the chat. Okay, 1. Okay, all right. LaShonda went pretty low. That's pretty good, though. I like that you went 1. I thought you were going to go way higher than that, LaShonda. All right. That's okay, though. I like it. Sanal or Nakia, do you have a number on that that you want to type in the chat? I can't stay here too long, but I want to see. I know there's a delay when you're on Facebook. See, LaShonda, you're getting everything in real time. They get a little bit of a delay. Okay, so it's actually 40 bits. 40 bits per second. So you're pretty close, LaShonda. To go from 1,000,000 to 1 is it's like a train. They say like the ratio of a train to a car is the same thing of a car to a soda can, like an empty soda can, right? So basically kind of that ratio of like thinking about, holy cow, 11 million bits per second, and we're only processing about 40 bits per second. Okay, so there's a lot more that your brain can do. Now, they did this study with these brain scans, and they took a scan when they had someone think negative, and they took a scan when somebody thought positive. What do you notice about the difference between the left and the right scan? What do you guys notice? You can just type it in the chat. It's not like, maybe it's just the color difference of what you're seeing, but what do you notice is the difference between the left and the right scan? Well, obviously, yes, one's negative, one's positive, but what do you notice? Color and volume of usage. Yes. So when you think negative, everything is more narrow, right? So you're seeing a lot less brain activity with a negative scan. You're not using all of your functioning. When you're thinking positive, you can see more possibilities, more probabilities. You actually are far more able to, you can process more data, right? You're able to actually use more of your functionality, right? There's this whole thing that says we only use 20% of our brains or something like that. Is that true or false? True or false? Red means more brain activity. It says it at the bottom here, right? So more brain activity means red, and so there's a lot less red on the left and a lot more on the right, right? Is it true that we only use about 20 to 40% of our brains? What is it, true or false? Put it in the chat. What do you guys think? True or false? I would say true. Okay, LaShonda says true. What do you think, Nakia and Sanel? True or false? Are we getting 40%, only 40% of our brains, whatever? It's actually not true. Your brain is 100% functioning all of the time. Now, again, going back to that 40 bits, we're only consciously aware of a certain percentage. And obviously, the more negative we think, the less of that we're using. But at no time is your brain not being used. Because when things are not used in the sense of biological function, they atrophy and die. Okay? Your brain is constantly forming new pathways and new things. There's a thing called neuroplasticity. And what that means is the more you're learning, you're willing to learn things and sort of challenge yourself, the more your brain is forging those connections. Joe Dispenza, one of my favorite authors in this kind of space, says when neurons fire together, they wire together. So if you decide that life is terrible and nothing is good, then those neurons kind of wire together, and then they form kind of like these patterns of, and that's where your beliefs come from, right? But if you think life is great, and then all of a sudden you have a new outlook, then all of a sudden new neurons are growing and all of that. And every 7 years, your body apparently changes out its entire cells. So you're not even the same person you were 7 years ago, not just figuratively, but literally, right? So there's always opportunity for change. So those statements that you might say, I'm like this, I'm like that, those are ideas that you have formed. I'm going to challenge you over these 5 days to start to think, who do you actually want to be versus who you've made yourself out to be, particularly if it's something that isn't necessarily helpful to where you're trying to go, okay? Where you're trying to go. All right. So thanks, guys. That was fun. Okay, now there's something called binary thinking, which is either this or that. We kind of have the black and white world, duality. Everybody's just kind of like it's either Republican or Democrat. It's either up or down. It's either good or bad. Okay? And I'm going to say that we want to, for this 5 days and going forward in your life, I want to encourage you to actually think a little differently, which is neutral, making everything neutral. There's a great book called Whatever It Takes, okay? And his name, the author of that book was actually the mental performance coach of Russell Wilson, who's married to Sierra now, in case any of you follow pop culture versus football. But anyway, the author of that book unfortunately has passed away, and his name is escaping me right this second, but it'll come to me. Oh, Trevor Moawad. And Trevor wrote this book and said neutral is the best. So if you can get to a place of nothing, write this down. Everybody write this down. Nothing has meaning except the meaning that you give it. Nothing has meaning except the meaning that you give it. So that's why we want to get to neutral, so we can realize that it's us that make things good or bad. There's no such thing as good or bad weather. There's only weather. There's no such thing as good or bad movies. There's only movies. There's no such thing as good or bad food. There's just food. Now, some people will say it tastes great. Some people say it's terrible. Some people will say the movie was good. Some people will say it's the worst movie I've ever seen. Some people will say that the weather is terrible outside, and some people will say it's beautiful. And that includes when it's raining and storming, etc., because some people love the rain and other people are just really mad that it's wet outside and messing up their shoes and their clothes. While a farmer somewhere might be really ecstatic that his crops are finally getting water from the sky, much needed moisture and nutrients. So just keep that in mind. How am I charging things? If I can get back to neutral, then I get to decide, is the way I'm looking at this helpful? Is the way I'm looking at this helpful, or is it harmful? Because I'm the one looking. I'm the one looking. Okay? All right. Does that make sense, everybody? Put a 1 in the chat if that made sense, what I just described. Because I know that seems, it could be a little complicated, but if you can remember that nothing has meaning except the meaning that you give it, especially in the mental sense, that's going to make all the difference in how you move about in your world. In your world. Okay? And if you have questions about that, take notes, because you can always ask me in the VIP session. And those of you that are in general admission can upgrade to VIP if you so choose. All right, so we want to do a quick math problem. If I was to ask you to take 36 by 36, how quickly could you do that math problem? How many seconds, guys? How many seconds? Can anybody do it in less than 5 seconds? 36 by 36. No calculator, by the way. You have to do it in your mind. So if you've already done it with the calculator, I can give you a different number. Okay? So we'll go 48 by 48. How many of you could do that with just your mind in 2 seconds? I couldn't. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really love math all that much, right? And I can think of, like, a lot of times our mind is fixed about certain things. So if you were an English or history person like myself, I hated math, right? So when somebody said math, I'd immediately turn off. I don't want to do math. Or, you know, in the jokes, I was told there'd be no math, right? But there is a trick to how to do math in a special way. So I'm going to stop the share for just a second, and I'm going to share something else because I want you guys to see this, okay? All right. Let's see all the whiteboards that I have, okay? All right. I'll just do a new whiteboard because I'm not sure where it is. I don't see it. Yeah. So, all right. So I'm going to be typing with my cursor. So please bear with me if my handwriting is terrible. Can you guys see? Oh, cannot access the whiteboard. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay. How do I? Okay. I just want to draw. Okay. Start drawing. Okay. All right. So if we take 48 by 48 and you do the long way we were taught, that would take a few minutes. But really, you just have to take the last 2 numbers, and then you take the first 2 numbers, and I think it goes 17, but 17, sorry, I can't see because it's 7, I think it's, let me check my phone to check my math because it's been a while since I've done this. Let's see, Nikia said Yeah, I got that. Um, I'm going to check my math because it's been a while since I've done this. Let's see, 48 by 48. Oh, wait, that's not right. 48 times 48. 8 times 8 and 4 times 4. Wait, that's not right. 4 times 8, 32. Oh, okay. I guess not. I guess I have forgotten how to do that math. So we're going to skip it. I apologize. I don't know. It's coming up way different than what I thought. So if it doesn't work, but the whole point is that there's easier ways to do math. And so the way we were taught, the longest way to know all the numbers doesn't necessarily work. But right now, I'm not seeing it the right way. So I'm just going to go ahead and get back to our share. Continue. Yeah, that's fine. Screens, go back to my slides. So, and here's the thing. Sometimes things don't work out. It's been a long time since I've done this challenge, so I'm also trying to remember stuff as I go along, so I apologize. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is for you to realize that when you have a fixed mind about certain things, you're going to automatically go into it differently than you would if you had an open mind. So one of the things is to keep your mind open during this challenge. I may say things that you've heard before or that you think, and your mind automatically might say, oh, I've heard that. Doesn't matter. Okay, everything's not going to be perfect, but the most important thing is that you're refreshing your mind and coming at it from anew, because like I said, you're literally a new person and figuratively, so you have the opportunity to look at things from a new perspective. Okay, so today's topic was amateur versus pro. And by the way, LaShonda, the whole recording of this entire time, even though you missed the first 30-40 minutes of the presentation, is all going to be in your portal for VIPs, so don't worry, you'll be able to get the whole recording. So anything you missed, you didn't miss, you'll be able to watch later. Okay, and I'll come back tomorrow and give you guys the proper math thing once I get that. Okay, so we want to go over, today is amateur versus pro mindset. So we want to talk about, what does an amateur do? What is the difference between an amateur and a pro? So the first thing is being outcome focused. Outcome focused. Okay, so what that means is, it's like, okay, did you win or did you lose? Did I make money or did I lose money? Did the thing that I wanted happen? So I'm only focused on how did it result? Only the results, right? Instead of, looking at things differently. Okay. Led by your emotions. We call it a high-low player. I'm good when things are good. I'm not good when things are not good. So I'm just like, oh my God, it's getting close to the end of the month. I don't know what's going on. So your emotions are kind of taking you on a ride, up and down, up and down, up and down. And by the way, while I'm going over these traits, I want you to think about, which ones do you want to cop to or admit to yourself? Because it's important that you be honest with yourself during these 5 days. I do that. I've noticed that I do that, right? Like, I'm on a high when everything's going good, when there's money in my bank account, or when the sun is shining, or when the traffic is clear. I am, it's easy to be up when it's up, right? But it's like, when things start to be challenging, do you notice your emotions start, being the driver, right? Like, why is there always traffic? Or I can't believe there's only this many days left in the month and things aren't going well, okay? Amateurs are uncomfortable with not knowing something, so they might not raise their hand or put themselves up to look like they might be foolish, right? Not knowing how to do something. They don't want to look bad in front of people, so they're not really taking those risks. They're just kind of staying in that safe zone. Maybe they're the one that's at the workshop but not raising their hand, not calling themselves out, not being the better version of themselves, because it's just like, you know what, I'm fine just where I am. I'll let other people ask the question. I'll let other people take the risk. I'll let them go, and then maybe if I feel like it's safe, I'll do something, okay? So these are amateurs. Take feedback personally. Hey, I just want to give you some feedback on what happened. Oh gosh, what did I do wrong? Like, God, it's always like I'm doing something wrong. It's always about me. Like, I can't get anything right, right? So that was how an amateur is automatically on the defensive, or thinking that, making a diagnosis of themselves because they made a mistake. So taking feedback personally, like, oh, why are you telling me this? I don't want to know if I'm making mistakes, right? They believe talents and gifts are predetermined. So what does that mean? Oh, well, yeah, of course they're good. They're tall, they're strong, they're fast. They've got a list. If you're an entrepreneur, you're already looking at certain people like, yeah, well, they've already got everything they need. So, or they probably already started with money or help or something, and I don't have that. So, you're already looking at how you're disadvantaged. And so some people get it and some people don't. And I'm in the don't category sometimes. So I guess I just, I wish I had the talents of XYZ person, but I don't. And so you're kind of always looking at how maybe you are lacking instead of full. Not coachable and flexible. They're not trying to hear that other stuff, right? So they're not being coachable. It's like, gosh, I know I'm not that good, but I got it. I know what I have to work on. I'm good, right? I'll figure it out. I'll do it by myself, right? That type of stuff. Jealous of others' wins and threatened by others' success. So like when other people win, it kind of feels like, well, why isn't it happening for me? Why is it always somebody else? I'm just as good as that person, or I've got skills, I've got talent, or I'm a good person. How come it's happening for them, right? Or, there they go winning again. They're always winning. You almost get like somebody shows up in your Instagram feed and you're just like, geez, they're it's always something good for them, and it's like, why doesn't that happen for me? And just feeling a little jealous or threatened, like other people feel like it's a competition, and you're kind of like, oh, maybe you got somebody in your industry that's always winning and you feel a little bit like, gosh, like it feels like they're just like bragging all the time. I want them to kind of stop. I want them, I don't know why, but it just feels weird, right? So you don't like that. Resist change. Hey, this is the way we've always done it. It worked at that time. I don't know why we have to change it, right? There's all these new advances in every business model you can come up with these days, especially with technology and AI and all the different things that people are creating. And it's just like, why do we need this? I don't like it. It's scary. I just feel like some people say, well, we've always done it this way. Why can't we just keep doing it the way we did it? It worked, or it worked so most of the time. So why do we have to change it, right? And then, like, first off the field, what that means is no extra time, not putting in an extra reps. Like, some of these are sports analogies, and I know many of you are not athletes, but just understand. First off the field is just like, like when I was in track, right? When practice was over, I left. I didn't say, can I get some extra reps? Or, hey, coach, can I get some extra tips? Or why don't I stick around? And, but then you got Kobe people who do kind of the crazy stuff, right? Putting that extra reps in, right? It's just like, well, if you said an hour, I'm doing an hour. Not an hour and 10 minutes, not an hour and 5. I'm doing an hour. That's it. And then I'm clocking out, right? We all know people like this at our jobs when we had jobs. People are just like, as soon as the clock struck, they were out the door, right? They weren't putting in those extra hours or extra reps, okay? So conversely, we want to talk about a pro mindset. And you may have some of these as well. You don't have to be all amateur or all pro, but these are things that we would want you to have. How do you go from amateur to pro? Well, there's a difference. It's all going to go back to that when we went all the way back to the beginning when we had this slide, right? With the attitude, behavior, actions, results, and performance. Too many people focused on the results, right? And then it's like, so when we go down here to the pro, we want to think about what are the behaviors and the attitudes of someone that's a pro, okay? So one is skill over scoreboard. What does that mean? Obviously, that's an athlete analogy, but it's saying you're focused more like, so if the score was, for example, in an athletic contest, that the other team had 10 and you had 5, you're like, oh, I'm doing terrible, right? But it's like, well, at that point, that's going to determine how much effort you put forward instead of just focusing on your skill. How can you be putting forth the best skill possible in every moment versus not playing according to the scoreboard? We don't want the people at 10 being like, oh, I can phone it in because we're winning by so much. And you don't want the people at 5 trying too hard to try to win and then mess up. So it's like focusing on your skill. What's the rep I'm working on? Like if I'm making calls, for example, in a real estate business, or if I'm prospecting, or I'm trying to get more people interested in what I do, just focusing on that skill. So if I don't think I'm very good at calls, then I'm going to make calls and then evaluate. How many calls did I make? How did I do? And then going on to the next thing. Okay. Has a mindfulness practice, which means spending some time with yourself, quieting your mind, Some people see that all in the lotus position, but there's so many different types of meditation. There's walking meditations there. You can lie down. You can do guided meditations, listening to music. You can just have silence. It's really up to you, but some level of mindfulness where you're just spending time kind of clearing the space, okay? All about living in the uncomfortable zone. I want to challenge myself every day to do something that makes me uncomfortable. Maybe I'm scared to make that call. That's the call I need to make. I'm scared to go approach someone with that type of house. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go ahead and put myself forth at a conference, or I'm going to put myself out there and talk to somebody new every day. If I find myself having difficult to create conversations, I might create them at the grocery store. I'm putting myself in the uncomfortable zone. I'm not just practicing what I'm good at, but I'm also challenging myself to do the things that make me uncomfortable that I think might be helpful for me to be successful in whatever I'm doing. So instead of just playing in that comfort zone, right? All growth and success happens where? Inside or outside your comfort zone? Type it in the chat. Inside or outside your comfort zone? Where do you think? All growth and success happens inside your comfort zone or outside your comfort zone? Which do you think? I'm just going to wait for a second for somebody to type in the chat and check for everybody. Okay. Yes, outside your comfort zone. Thank you, LaShonda. Right, exactly. Okay, so that is important. We need to be we need to be stepping outside our comfort zone. If that's where all growth and success happens, then that is not where we're going to find our success, inside our comfort zone. Even though it makes us feel happy and safe, we have to determine part of this is nervous system regulation. That's why you do the mindfulness practice, is being able to incorporate regulating your nervous system even when you're uncomfortable, because for some people it feels very unsafe or like death. And so part of it is learning how to breathe and how to be okay even when your heart might be racing or you're feeling that sense of nerves. Okay. All right. A pro eats feedback for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I want feedback, either feedback loops from the data that they have. They're gathering data. I made 10 calls. This is what happened on those calls. This is what I'm going to do differently and make adjust for the next 10 calls. And then they're going to learn from the next, they're going to apply that, learn something from the next 10 calls, and then go again. Feedback, feedback, feedback. I love it. Give me all the feedback I need. I can't get better if I don't get feedback. Now, you can always ask for feedback the way you would like it, right? Like they call it a compliment sandwich. Everybody heard this, where you start with the positive. Hey, you know what, LaShonda, here's what you did well. Okay, great. Here's a few things you could improve on. Okay, and I just want to compliment you once again on the way that you do this. Compliment sandwich, right? Some people don't like it. They think it's all whatever. But when I ask my athletes and my high performers what went well when they do something, I always start with what went well instead of what went wrong, right? And some people think, oh, well, I would never ask what went wrong. I would just say what went well, what could have gone better, and what would you like to do differently next time? Those three questions. What went well, what could have gone better, and what am I committed to implement going forward, right? Don't ever throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's always something good in what you did. And if you can't find the good, you're not looking hard enough, okay? Because there's no possibility that everything was wrong, okay? All right. They knows their effort and performance is up to them, which means they're not relying on the rest of the team or everybody else around them or the economy or whatever. So it's like, if everybody's like, in the real estate business, for example, because I know we have a few realtors on here, most people look at it as when I'm up, I'm up. When I'm down, I'm down. When economy's up, I'm up, and that's great. But what if the economy goes down? What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my business? All that stuff. And it's like, well, your effort and performance is really up to you. You don't have to be a slave to the economy or to what other people are saying, right? You don't also, if you're part of a team, a brokerage, and then you're like, well, everyone's doing great, so I don't have to do that great to keep my job or keep my numbers or to keep things going pretty smooth. It's like, no, I'm personally challenging myself to go to the next level. I'm not just going to stay where I am, okay? Where I was, okay? Very coachable and flexible. You know, they have a personal relationship with the coach, letting them know, hey, I love the feedback you gave me. Here's what I did with it. If you see something else, let me know. Oh my gosh, I love this. You know, I'm flexible. We can try some new things. I would love that. I'm looking for new tools to even give my coach to tell them how to make me better. In fact, the Knicks, who are in the finals, obviously about to possibly win. They're up 2 games. They play tonight. In fact, they might be playing right now because I think it's 8:30 Eastern, but I don't know. But they are talking about, like, the coach being like, with Carl Anthony Towns, he was asked about how's that relationship really helped, and he's like, well, I've got to adjust and he's got to adjust. I've got to find the right ways to reach my athlete, and so that's what we've been doing. It's really reflective of our relationship. So it's not just, you know, like, I come in, I'm the coach and this is the way, or you're the athlete and this is the way. It's finding the right mix so that we can get the success together. Okay. Also, pros celebrate others' wins, because if other people are winning, it means I can win. So I'm happy for you that you got that house and you sold that deal. I'm happy for you that you have this success. Winning is all around me. I'm happy. That's showing it's possible for me. It's the universe saying, winning, everybody's winning, and you can too. Rather than, you know, and as you show, like, when you celebrate something, it's showing the universe, the energy, the powers that be, whatever you believe in, that you also are welcoming of that energy of wanting that, versus this shut down, jealous, kind of insecure energy, which is like just trying to protect this smaller self, which is just like, everybody else is winning, kind of like, you know, being all grumpy, versus, hey, I'm so happy other people are winning. That's so great. It means it's only a matter of time before it's happening for me too. So, and you know, and maybe studying the winners. I'm happy for you, right? So, and studies their tracks, right? Looking at, how did they do that? That's so cool. I'm going to try that. I like that. I like what they did. I'm learning from their success, right? Success leaves traces, they say. So, like, yes, obviously, follow those people, follow the great leaders and people that you admire, and take from them what resonates with you. Okay, everybody's way won't work with you. Can't just follow everybody's. Like, get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, if it works for you. But if you resonate with that and you want to get up at 5, do that. If it gets you excited. Responds to everything thrown at them with an open mind, right? So instead of resisting change, they're like, yes, oh my gosh, that's cool. I love this. This is a new idea. Let me try it. Let me see if it works. I've never heard that before. I'm going to give this a shot. I wonder if there's a different way I can look at this, right? I was on a walk on Saturday, and this lady, she saw this sign that said, black on black crime, doing the KKK's work, right? And so we were on this community walk, and it was, somebody had written it, and it was in a pretty much a black neighborhood. So I thought it was an interesting thing, because the way she was reading it, she saw the word KKK and she immediately closed her mind and said, I want to knock that thing over. And I read it to myself and I said, I don't think it says what she thinks it says. So it took me a second, and I just kept sitting with it as I was walking, and I was like, oh, what they're saying is black people hurting other black people is doing the KKK's work for them. Now, I didn't go back and say anything to the girl who knocked the stone off on someone's private property because she didn't like the word KKK in there, right? But I realized, oh, I see, like, there's, you know, like, we can be closed. That's an example of a closed mind. I see something, it immediately triggers something in me, and I'm like, that needs to go. Versus there's a deeper meaning behind something. So can you look for opportunities to expand, going back to that brain scan, to look at things more positively, or see more than what's on the surface that the average person would just be shut off by. And obviously I'm not trying to do any charged things here, but since we're all people of color on this particular live stream, I'm just saying you have to look at it from the perspective that everything is not what it seems if you can be willing to look beyond the surface, okay? Last one off the field, I brought up Kobe. He was like the king of mindset. I do recommend Mamba Mentality, but just studying what Kobe did. He's a great story about Allen Iverson, before AI was synonymous with only artificial intelligence. And he went to dinner with Kobe, and Kobe was like, what you about to do after this? And Allen was like, probably go to the club, you know. And he's like, what you about to do? He's like, going back to the gym. And that was what Kobe was. He was always putting in work. He was the last. He said he used to come early to work out. So by the time the opposing team had come into the gym, they could see that he was sweating and he had put in extra work. He wanted them to see him as the hardest working person out there. Now, I don't always equate time with, success, as far as like if I put in more reps, but Kobe did say it's simple math. If I put up 10,000 shots and he's only putting up 4,000, there's a good chance that I am going to be more successful than the person doing less work. Okay. And so it's not just putting in effort, but it's putting in good effort, right? And last is just focused only on what they can control. Okay. Focused on what you can control. You can't control everybody else, but you can control how you respond to things, right? So I always say it's your responsibility. So it's not like, oh, well, being a victim and thinking that everything is, it's not, I can't do anything about that. Like a lot of people feel this way about our political system. It's kind of like, well, there's nothing we can do, or they feel this way about the way our country's made up. But it's like, can you go to a place where what can you control? How you look at, like even if you don't like who's in the White House, could you control how you wake up every day? It's like, well, I can't be successful because there's climate control, there's lack of this and there's lack of that. And it's like, well, it's you choosing to look at that and then making yourself feel less, right? Versus saying, well, what is within my control? I can still have a good day. I can still put my best effort forward, even if there's some difficulties or challenges that may be in the way or affecting that. I can still choose what really has control over me and what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Okay? All right, so that is amateur versus pro mindset, day one. Just going over the different traits and different ways of looking at things. Can everybody share what their biggest takeaway was? Biggest takeaway from today? What you actually have homework every day for the challenge. So one, all of you join the Facebook group. LaShonda will join the Facebook group after this because she's on Zoom. But what your assignment is, there's a video that's pinned in the Facebook group. Okay. These challenge replays do come down after 24 hours. So you need to watch this before tomorrow at the time of the start of the challenge. For those of you that are in VIP, you get the recordings for the full 5 days and then they go away. So you get a chance to get 5 days to kind of catch up if you get behind or if you want to rewatch something. You have your own portal. You also get VIP access to get hot seats with me if you have questions that you want to ask about your personal business situation, life, whatever, and you want some advice, some guidance, etc. Okay. Your other homework is to record a welcome video introducing yourself. Hi, I'm Bryn. I have a business where I teach mindset to elite athletes and high performers. I'm really excited to be in this challenge because I want to take my mindset to the next level. I've noticed some things that get in the way, and I have 2 fun questions in there. I think one of them is like your favorite type of pizza. I don't remember, or something like that. So there's some fun questions that are in the welcome post, and then I want you to comment on 2 other people's videos so that you guys can create community. Okay, so hi, Sanel, love what you said about, why you're taking the challenge. I resonate with that, right? And vice versa. So that's what your homework is for the challenge. And then also record a second video, because if you had been in the group already, you would have done the welcome video. The second video is just your takeaways from day one. Hey, today was really great. I really resonated with this, or I found I have a lot of the mindset traits, or pro mindset, or gosh, I didn't realize how many of the amateur ones I was kind of, coming up where I was like, oh, I do that, right? So, and it could be something else I said at the beginning, or a story I told, or whatever. So make sure that you record 2 videos, okay, 2 videos. And then they're not long, like, less than a minute a piece. I do recommend for the 5 days that you do your homework as soon as you can, immediately following jumping off the Zoom or the Facebook session, so that you're not trying to come back. But you have until, like I said, the next day at the start of the challenge to be able to see the recording. If you're in general admission, VIP, you'll have your recordings uploaded to a portal that you'll have access to, that I'll send you your login credentials, and you'll be able to see the recordings for all 5 days. All right. So that is that for day one. Definitely come back for day two. It's one of my favorite days. Okay, favorite days, and it's how to be drafted. Now, pros get drafted, but it's also learning about identity. Who are you? Who are you being? And what is the makeup of somebody who really wants to change how they see themselves, which then can, kind of goes to the be, do, have of. So definitely make sure you come back tomorrow, because we're going to teach you a lot more about the next level. Is once you figure out if you're amateur versus pro right now, then we want to talk about more about what it is to start to see yourself as a pro. Okay, so with that being said, thank you so much, everyone on the Facebook. Now you can stick around. I'm going to give you guys a preview to the VIP session where LaShonda is going to ask a question if she has one. And LaShonda, your question can be from anywhere. So things you've been wanting that have been going on, you can just tell me a story, anything like that. Anyone in VIP gets an opportunity to get a hot seat. And obviously, as many times as you raise your hand, provided everyone else has had a chance to go, you get an opportunity to also go. Okay. So it's just asking any questions that maybe have been burning in your business. Like, I'm running up against this challenge in my business, or this is happening in my relationship, or this is happening in here. And I'm happy to give you some insight and things. But if you don't have questions, I can also just say, well, tell me a little bit about your business and what's going on. And we can find a question, even if you're not sure if there's a question in there. So don't feel pressured, but definitely know that this is your time. Okay. So, LaShonda, if you're ready, okay, and I'm gonna stop my share because we don't need this anymore because we're done with the slides. It's really dark where you are, LaShonda. I don't know if you want to turn a light on. I mean, I know you have that virtual background, but it's hard to see your beautiful full face. But it's up to you. Oh, yeah, I was like, the lights, it's gone right outside. That's what happened. Yeah, exactly. So take your time to go if you want to turn a light on in your room. So yeah, that's better. I got a little light on the side of your face. Perfect. Okay, so go ahead and tell me what made you first sign up for VIP. Okay. Okay. Perfect. No problem. No problem. And what kind of business are you in? Okay, perfect. And how long have you been a realtor or a broker, or what level of that is? Okay, 10 years. Nice. And what's your favorite, what do you find most good about it and challenging? Yeah. Okay. 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 Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Got it. And you've been doing it 10 years full time, right? Okay, nice. Where did you always obviously before the 10 years, what were you doing? Ooh, wow. Okay, nice. I have a friend that used to work for AT&T, or I think he still does. He travels more than anyone I know. He's like, he loves travel, but not for business, just like for pleasure. But anyway, all right. Well, if you don't have any questions today, it's okay, because I know it's late and we had some difficulties getting in. And but is there a particular area, if you want to think about it, you don't have to have the answer tonight, of like, what about your business would you like some help with, or is it your personal life? It can be any aspect of LaShonda's life. It doesn't have to be business, right? But when a lot of people that come to this, they're trying to make more money, they're trying to have better relationships, they're trying to have better health, right? Um, and so it just depends. And you can have a question from any of them because you're going to have a lot of time with me. So you can one day you can focus on business, then the next day you can focus on relationships if that's an area you want to, and so on and so forth. So I would just say, since we didn't normally we have a Sunday kickoff call, but you signed up today, so the Sunday kickoff call is where I would give you this talk. But I would say, write down as many questions that come up that you can think of that you would say, I would feel like I would get my money's worth if I could have the answer to these 5 questions. And it could be 10, it doesn't matter. Just as many questions as you have. And even if you're not sure, you're like, but I still would like to hear a perspective on it. That's fine. It doesn't have to be make or break. And then just come with those questions, because the VIP session, we're just going to knock them out as many as we can do. Okay. All right. So I won't put you on the spot tonight if you don't have any questions. I will say for VIP, it is a different level because those who invest just, pay they differently. And I love that you said, like, I don't want to miss anything. Nakia did do the VIP she took the challenge, I want to say 3 to 4 times, and this might be her 4th or 5th. She is an existing client. She's been with me for a while. And she's after taking the challenge and then signing up for my back end coaching program, she can tell you, but she had her best year in business following that. And so it does just that shift, right? Because a lot of people think they need to shift strategy, they need to shift, maybe get a different coach or try a different method. And what they find is when they shift their mindset, everything shifts with it. And so then I know you're already having some success, you can have another level of success. So don't hesitate to really think deeply about how you would like this to impact you, because it makes a lot of difference. Okay. All right. Anything? Okay. Perfect. Good, good, good. So that starts at 6 o'clock your time. Okay. Just so you know. And your VIP session from 6 to 7, and then from 7 to 8 we have the session that you saw with the slides. I don't do slides for beyond day. I think day 2 has some slides, but then it goes pretty much without the slides. But day 1 has the most slides because I just want to stay with the kind of laying the foundation. But there will be a teaching portion, which is from 7 to 8 your time. And so the questions are for you specifically, and then 7 to 8 is a general session for the general admission people, which we go live into the Facebook group and get you and them the lesson, but you stay on Zoom with me the whole time. Okay. All right. All right. See you tomorrow, everybody who's watching. And thank you so much. So you can leave, LaShonda, you're good. And if I just want to close it out for other people that are watching, those of you that might be still watching on Facebook, you can upgrade to the VIP. You can either go back to the page where you initially signed up and sign up for VIP, or I can send you a link for VIP upgrade. It's the same price, $97, but you get a chance to get hot seats. And with a small group, you will get a lot of my undivided attention. I know Nakia will be in here tomorrow because all existing clients get to come in for VIP. And then if anyone else wants to join and really take advantage, the VIP is the way to go. So I do recommend that you take advantage because you've got tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and all that good stuff. Okay, so, and you get the recordings. So remember the assignments that I gave you guys. I'm going to shut off this live stream, and I will see you all tomorrow. Okay. Whoo. Okay. Approve. Yeah. All right. All right. Stripey. Oh yeah, I took the money. Okay, good. I was like, wait a minute. When's it expected? June 10th. Oh, I might leave it, but let me unify. Oh yeah, there it is. I was like, oh shit. It's the gas, right? Oh, let me turn this off. Oh, I'm still live on YouTube? Oh no. Okay. Finish and